Tune into Nice Radio every Saturday at 7:30 a.m. for A View from the Outside, hosted by Brereton Horne. A View from the Outside takes a look at key issues affecting St Vincent and the Grenadines and gives a global perspective on how these issues are viewed. Host Brereton Horne will examine a variety of topics to enlighten, stimulate debate, and explore solutions. Hear the facts, hear the real-life stories, hear A View from the Outside. Join Brereton Horne at 7:30 a.m. every Saturday on Nice Radio for A View from the Outside.
From the outside this week being the 19th of January 2019, we look at laughing stock. Laughingstok, laughing stock, with the view being that St Vincent and the Grenadines is seen as a laughing stock around the Caribbean region and the outer world, and as such, much needs to be done to save the reputation of the country. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines laughing stock simply as an object of ridicule. It therefore stands to reason that if someone or something becomes a laughing stock, then that person or thing being an object of ridicule is laughed at, poked fun at, made the butt of jokes, or mocked. Who would have thought that St Vincent and the Grenadines, such a beautiful country with its rugged terrain on the mainland especially, its luscious vegetation, its turquoise waters, its beautiful white and black sand beaches in abundance, and with a people who once lived in harmony where people looked out for one another, could have become a laughing stock. Sadly, despite all of those qualities, that is what St Vincent and the Grenadines has become. And sadly too, because of the ridicule, many Vincentians are now reluctant to shout to their friends and acquaintances that they are from St Vincent and the Grenadines. Why then is St Vincent and the Grenadines seen as a laughing stock? Many say that it has acquired that label because of the way the country is currently governed. Many say that the country is being run like a cult. Many say that it is a dynasty in the making. Many say that it is being run like a badly run family business at the whim and fancy of the proprietor. Many say that it is the people, its country, the people have become too docile and too accepting of the abuse that is dished out with regularity. Over the years, there are many things which have happened, which accumulate and add to the long list of things that people mock. Because of time constraints, and because the list is endless, it is simply not possible to mention all of the things which make others see St. Vincent and the Grenadines as a laughing stock. However, we will give some examples here, and we recognize that you will no doubt have many more examples of your own. It is worth noting that the examples which we give here are not in any particular order. Many say that St. Vincent and the Grenadines is the only country in the world to have had a rally allegedly in support of rape. That rally is now referred to as a rape rally. Many would remember that that rally was held by senior members of the Unity Labour Party ULP government in support of their leader, the Prime Minister, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, after he was accused of raping and sexually abusing a female member of his security detail while she was on duty guarding him and his family. Yes, that rally contributes to St Vincent and the Grenadines been seen as a laughing stock around the world. Many would remember that prior to the last elections of the 9th of December 2015, a recording surfaced and made the rounds on social media and on other forums also. It went viral. The recording was the voice of an older man allegedly having phone sex with a young woman. The man boasted about his phallus and his libido and about the color of his underwear. The man, by his own admission in the recording, is a parliamentarian of the highest order, since he himself mentioned, among other things, that he called the young woman the day before while he was on his way from Parliament. Laughably in the recording is the fact that although the man is seen as someone of opulence and enormous wealth, the young woman revealed that her dinner comprised of a packet of ramen noodles, of which she was having half now and half later. Many believe that they know who the man is, despite his protestation. In fact, there is voice recognition available to identify the identity of the man. He remains in Parliament while the young woman had to flee the shores of St Vincent and the Grenadines. And this man, that man, carries on in Parliament with business as usual. Yes, people are laughing at St Vincent and the Grenadines. For that, the country has become a laughing stock. Having mentioned the elections of December 9th, 2015, it has to be mentioned also that legally those elections are still undecided. Everyone knows that the ULP is accused of having rigged and stolen those elections, and as a result, they are alleged to have foisted themselves into government. As a result of that, the opposition, New Democratic Party, the NDP, filed election petitions from 2 of the constituencies. The world is aware of all the shenanigans and tactics that have been employed to prevent the petitions from being heard. On the 7th of March 2017, that date is significant. Remember, the 7th of March 2017, the Eastern Caribbean Court of Appeal, following an appeal from the NDP, remitted the petitions back to the High Court in St Vincent and ordered that the petitions be held expeditiously. Look at the time that has elapsed since. It's 2 months short of 2 years, and the petitions are still not heard. It is clear to the world that St Vincent and the Grenadines does not employ the ordinary dictionary meaning of the word expeditiously. It seems as if the establishment in St Vincent and the Grenadines, it seems as if for the establishment in St Vincent and the Grenadines, including the courts, expeditiously no longer means to act with speed and efficiency or to be quick and efficient. Because up to now, the petitions are yet to be heard. And for that, St Vincent and the Grenadines is a laughing stock. Another example of St Vincent and the Grenadines being a laughing stock is when the opposition NDP attempted to bring a motion of no confidence against the ULP government. The records are there for anyone to examine, and an examination of those records will show the farce and the tragedy which transpired. The Speaker of the House, in a Westminster-style parliament, ruled that the opposition couldn't debate a motion of no confidence, and alternatively he allowed an amendment of the opposition's motion and allowed the government ministers to debate a motion of confidence in themselves. The farce of that decision is even more glaring when subsequently the neighboring Caribbean countries of Guyana and St Kitts and Nevis have had motions of no confidence debated in their parliament. In the case of Guyana, the government lost, and in the case of St Kitts and Nevis, the government won. And even more glaring and embarrassing is the fact that just a few days ago, in fact on the 16th of January 2019, in the Westminster Parliament itself, a motion of no confidence was tabled and debated against the Conservative government in the UK. The government won. Well, for the decision made in the Parliament of St Vincent and the Grenadines, people are laughing at us. St Vincent and the Grenadines has become a laughing stock. As mentioned earlier, time does not permit us to mention all of the examples, all of the things that make us a laughing stock around the world. However, many would remember when the government made national insurance deductions from its employees and failed to pay over those deductions to the National Insurance Service. And then, after having owed the National Insurance Service millions of dollars for those same deductions, the government turned around and borrowed money from the NIS to pay the NIS. And for that, people are laughing at St Vincent and the Grenadines. St Vincent and the Grenadines has become a laughing stock. There's also the situation where Dave Ames, the former proprietor of the Bucoma Bay Resort, was charged with defrauding the government of St Vincent and the Grenadines of millions of dollars. He did not answer his bail. He left the country. In fact, he absconded via one of the most northern towns, Chateaubriand, a most unusual port of exit. He left the country, and many workers, despite the promise of payment by ministers of government, still remain unpaid. The charges against Dave Ames have now been discontinued. And for that whole fiasco, people are laughing at St Vincent and the Grenadines. St Vincent and the Grenadines has become a laughing stock. The case of Yogi Farrell continues to reverberate around the world. She is the young woman who faced the wrath of the establishment in St Vincent and the Grenadines. She, without any supporting evidence being presented in court, was carted off to the mental health center for observation, where she spent weeks before she was eventually released on bail. That treatment of Yogi Farrell, unjustly in the eyes of many, which was meted out to her because she was alleged, or she was alleged to have used insulting words to Karen Gonsalves, the wife of the Minister of Finance, Camilo Gonsalves, after the allegation surfaced that Yogi Farrell was allegedly involved in an extramarital affair with Camilo Gonsalves. After she languished in the mental health center, and after months of uncertainty on bail, and after regional and international outcry, the charges were dismissed against Yogi Farrell. For the way she was treated, St Vincent and the Grenadines is seen as a laughing stock around the world. People are laughing at us because of the way the Prime Minister is seemingly positioning his son to succeed him. After he said he did not know that his son was appointed to his ministry, he did not know that his son was to be sent as an ambassador to the United Nations, he later recommended him to be appointed as a senator and gave him a ministerial post. The latest plan, or the latest in the plan is that he appointed him as Minister of Finance, despite the fact that many believe that he continues to do that job himself. Then there's the trilogy, where three members of the Gonsalves clan are in charge of the nation's finances. The father is the Prime Minister. The son is the Minister of Finance. And the son's wife, the daughter-in-law of the Prime Minister, is the Executive Director of the Financial Services Authority. It is worth mentioning that after an outcry, when the son's wife, the daughter-in-law of the Prime Minister, was appointed to that post, the nation was told that she was appointed to the job temporarily. Well, a full year has elapsed and she's still in post. Yes, people are laughing at St Vincent and the Grenadines. The country is a laughing stock around the Caribbean and the rest of the world. So, from all those examples, and no doubt from the ones that you will identify yourself and the ones that you have already identified, it is clear that as Vincentians, we cannot continue to accept such behavior. We cannot continue to be the laughing stock. We must save our country, and we must save the reputation of our country. We must save it now. The ball is in our court. Let's do it. And while we do it, let us use the words of Marcus Mosiah Garvey to guide us. He said, if we as a people realized the greatness from which we came, we would be less likely to disrespect ourselves. Let us do a bit of substitution and say, if we as a people realized the greatness from which we came, we would be less likely to allow ourselves to become a laughing stock. Until next week, Randy and all of the listeners, this is Brereton Horne with A View from the Outside, with a reminder to send feedback as usual to aviewfromtheoutside@hotmail.com. That's aviewfromtheoutside@hotmail.com. And let me thank here our listener, one of our listeners in Canada, who reminded us that we should also mention our Facebook page. So you can also visit our Facebook page, which is A View from the Outside, and you could also visit our YouTube channel at Brereton Horne. So until next week, have a pleasant Saturday, have a wonderful Sunday, and have a productive week ahead, taking action to prevent St Vincent and the Grenadines being a laughing stock. All the best to you, Randy, and the listeners.